What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PrizePicks Pick Show. Today, it is the Underdog US Open Pick Show. We've got some cool stats for you guys as well when it comes to playing underdogs. You'll be able to build some of your own plays as well. And then we got some baseball and big. Today, there are two NBA Finals Game 3 picks that I already love. I will be dropping those once we get 5 unique commenters in the live YouTube chat. So if you want the two NBA picks, one is a 1.25x multiplier over on Underdog that I love. I think it's like 55 to 60% likely to hit, and it's 1.25x. So you're going to want these plays. The only way to get them is to get 5 unique YouTube commenters in that live chat. So once we see that, once we get that going, we'll get to those NBA picks. I'll remind you guys of that throughout the show because I know a bunch of people are going to continue to file in, so they won't have heard that. So let's start with these U.S. Open picks, and you guys know we're going right back to it. Tiger and Phil both higher than 4.5 bogeys. Yes, we get penalized a little bit for this correlation, but we can get that back in other ways if we'd like. And shout out to Josh Culp at Future Fantasy on Twitter, shared with me some great stats this morning, including the average number of bogeys per round in the 2014 U.S. Open held at Pinehurst, 4.7. So I was guessing it was more like 4 and still loved the more than 4.5 because if you remember, if we go to bogeys here, the standard number we're getting 3.0 or 3.5. So basically like all of these I think are a hair low. And we get the guys who I expect to make a lot of bogeys in Phil and Tiger. Tiger, by the way, today had a great quote that he expects like in 2005 when it was at the U.S. Open, that guys are going to be, quote unquote, playing ping pong around these greens. Basically means they're going to put up onto the green and it's going to fall off the other side. They're going to put it up onto the green. It's going to fall off the other side. So it sounds like it's going to be pretty damn difficult with how fast and firm this place is right now. So again, I love this start of Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods higher than 4.5 bogeys. Justin and I on Pro V Pro yesterday built a 3-pick play where we also then included a birdies pick. Notice when you do that, if you go higher on birdies, so we went 1 with Rory, 1 with Bryson. The official one is Bryson. By the way, with that said, go check out that show if you haven't yet. I believe it was posted this morning. If it hasn't yet, it'll be posted shortly. We're doing a really cool giveaway this week. So if you can show us that you signed up for Underdog with promo code FTN and you played the official 3-pick play of Pro V Pro, and that pick or that play does not hit, we will be matching the deposit bonus for one lucky winner, one lucky subscriber. So check that out. Go watch Pro V Pro once it's up. If it's already up, haven't been able to check this morning. And of course, use promo code FTN on Underdog, $250 deposit bonus match. So what I want to talk about here is I don't want to go right back to this birdie number. One of the stats that Josh shared, only 2.2 birdies per round. Yeah, Bryson and Rory make birdies like nobody else. So I'm not opposed to this play. What I'm really interested in is how much better the payout gets when you do this sort of thing. So they're treating this as inverse correlation, and to a degree, it is inverse correlation with those 2 bogey picks because there are, potential for if you make 4 birdies and 6 bogeys, something like that in a round. It's not super inversely correlated, at least not in my mind, as inversely correlated as this payout suggests. But I'd rather do something else. We don't yet have fairways. By the way, already have 2 unique commenters. Yeah, Detective Gillis' $80 uniform pants certainly qualifies as being unique with that username. And also have Zed, our 2 usuals. So thank you, as always, to you guys for being in here. Let's get 3 more. Once we get 3 more unique commenters in the live YouTube chat, we will drop the 2 NBA Finals Game 3 picks, including a 1.25x multiplier that I think is incredibly likely to win. So really like that one. Let's get those unique commenters in there. The other stat that Josh shared is that the average number of fairways hit per round was 9.8 in 2014. We don't yet have fairways as a pick that we can go to. Once that's up, my guess is it'll be up either tonight, tomorrow morning, something like that. That's what they've done in the past, at least. Once that is up, I'll be very, very curious to see if we take a higher on fairways does that create the same boost in payout as the birdie or better higher pick? I kind of think that it shouldn't, but it might, because one of the ways that this golf course is so difficult is that when it's this fast, it's so hard to hit fairways if you're hitting driver, because almost all of the fairways tighten at a certain distance. So we might see guys say, okay, I don't want to risk going into that wiregrass, being in one of these weeds in the sandy areas. So I'll just lay back with 3-wood or a driving iron, something like that. I know on number 7 of his practice round, Bryson took out a driving iron instead of driver. So there could be an instance where it's really hard to not make bogey because you're purposely choosing to not hit driver and now coming into these incredibly difficult greens to hit from 210 yards instead of 150 if you took driver, just because you think it's that important to be in the fairway. So I really, really would think that there isn't inverse correlation between a higher fairways pick and the bogey picks, but we might be able to do that and get a great payout. So very much we'll be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, I'm not even going to share the comment that Detective Gillis, $80 uniform pants, just put in the live chat. But again, we need 3 more unique commenters to unlock those NBA picks. If we don't, they will be in the Pick'em Discord for FTN subscribers. So if you're watching free, your only chance of getting those is to get 5 unique commenters in the chat. All right, moving on. I also have some MLB picks that I like today. Let's jump over, in fact, to the tool. And I want to start with some of these fantasy point picks because there are some key differences in lines that we should talk through today. On PrizePicks, for example, you see Jesus Luzardo here at 26.5. On Underdog, he is 27.5, I believe. Or actually, no, he's 26.5, but there's a difference in the scoring, remember. So if he were to finish at 21, for example, without the quality start and the win, so that means he gets 7 either full innings or strikeouts minus earned runs. So every out is worth 1, which means every completed inning is worth 3, every strikeout is worth 3, and every earned run costs 3. So you get those key numbers of 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, etc. So 21 is one of those key numbers. On PrizePicks, a win would get him from 21 to 27. On Underdog, he would need both the win and the quality start if he lands on 21 to get to 27. And of course, he'd be higher than that. At that point, he'd be at 31. But consequently, I think it's a little bit less likely that he hits this number on Underdog than PrizePicks. So I want to check how likely he is to go over 27.5 in the tool to use that as a better measure of his win probability. On Underdog, 61.4%. That is still very solid. Certainly still one that I am interested in playing. So we're going to go add higher than 26.5 for Jesus Luzardo. On Underdog, we honestly could stop there. 5.52x isn't terrible. I would like better than that. And certainly, I am not going to stop there because at the very least, I've got 2 NBA picks that I love. We need 2 more. Shout out to Robert Workman. Only 2 more unique commenters in the live chat now needed to unlock those final 2 NBA picks. Let's see if we can find that 4th pick first so we can turn this into a 6-pick Underdog play. If you remember from last week's Wednesday show between myself and Zach, we know 6-pick plays on Underdog are as good as it gets now. Plus, we're going to have that 1.25x multiplier. So we're going to get that even higher than the standard 25x payout. So let's look for some other picks here. One other thing I like to do, oh, by the way, I should mention, Jordan Montgomery, 22.5 on PrizePicks. Cutter Crawford, 24.5 on PrizePicks. On Underdog, we don't get quite those same numbers. Montgomery's up at 23.5. If he lands on 18, that 23.5 number is on the wrong side of the key number, remember, because 5 points for a win, 5 points for a quality start. So for Montgomery, we probably want to put in 24.5. I think that's probably still going to be decent. Let's see. 70.3 minutes. That's still really high. We really like Jordan Montgomery in this matchup. 22.5 versus 29.67 we have projected is one of the higher discrepancies that I've seen. In fact, I kind of want to see what has he done in his last few starts, because this to me seems like the model is seeing something in his last couple of starts that looked really good. So in his last two starts, he's pitched 4 innings and given up 8 runs to the Mets, and then 2 innings giving up 6 runs to the Giants. So that's why his number is this low. Basically, the model is saying is, yeah, he's not pitching anywhere near that badly. His number shouldn't be anywhere near that low. For most of the year, he's been 28.5, 29.5 as his line on these two sites. So I'm not going to commit to that one just yet. I actually want to do some of the research myself into, okay, why does the model not care about those 2 starts? What does his velocity look like? What does his spin rate look like? That's probably something best left for the Discord, though. So I'm not going to go ahead and add Jordan Montgomery. Instead, I'm going to check Cutter Crawford first. Cutter Crawford against my Phillies. I never like playing pitchers against the Phillies, particularly because they've been damn good and hard to go over against. In fact, I really liked Minaya the other day. It was one of the first times in a while that I played someone against the Phillies. He would have gotten there if Starling Marte in right field wasn't a complete dunce, but Marte let a pop-up fall in front of him, and next thing you know, the Phillies put up 6 against Minaya, and there went that. Minaya couldn't even get out of the inning. Cutter Crawford, 25.5 here on Underdog instead of the 24.5 number. So let's first of all put in 25.5, not 255. Crawford's going to still project pretty well here, I think. And it may just be my own personal bias. So yeah, he's still 70.1%. Again, I'm not ready to commit on that one. But it does look pretty good. Crawford has been fairly good as well, I believe. Let's see. Maybe I shouldn't be too hesitant to add that. He didn't have a very good start against Atlanta. Actually, he's had 3 consecutive bad starts. So another guy whose line is as low as it is because of the box score struggles. The model saying he hasn't been as bad as those box scores suggest. I'm going to want to dive into that as well to confirm that myself. In the meantime, there's one other place that I would like to go. Let's go to the strikeouts. Right away, we see Bryan Woo, 6 strikeouts. We only have him projected for 4.99. This is really interesting because on Underdog, Bryan Woo is available at 6.5. Higher is 1.2x. Lower is 0.8x. If we move this to 6.5 and go lower, this becomes 76%. So really, really likely to hit. Is it worth dropping the payout with a 0.8x play? If I've got nothing else that I love, maybe it is. The really interesting with Woo is that we are extremely high on him. We think he's been one of the better pitchers in baseball. The downside, and the reason why he's not that likely to get there, both his pitch count and his total batters faced have been fairly low, much lower than other aces. Is that because Seattle's being careful with him? Maybe. My explanation, though, is he's gone 6 innings in most starts, and regardless of how efficient he's been in those 6, they take him out. I almost think it's less about Woo himself and more about the fact that they just really like the way their relievers stack up in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. So once a starter gets through 6, all right, you're out of there. Let's let the bullpen do its job. In that regard, it's going to be tough for him to get to 6.5. In fact, if you look at his strikeout counts, because he's been so efficient per at bat, 6, 2, 1, 7, 5, 3 so far this year. Pitch counts of 62, 79, 77, 70, 66, 85 in his last game. Total batters faced 15, 20, 20, 24, 19, 21. I even bumped his total batters faced projection up to 22.5, and we still have him at 76% likely to go under this 6.5 number. So I think this is pretty strong. The White Sox have been a much better offense once Luis Robert got back into the lineup. So that's probably my lean. But we need 2 more. We need 2 more unique commenters so we can talk about these 2 NBA Finals Game 3 picks. Once we have those, we can create this 6-pick play and actually put it into play. In the meantime, I guess we'll just continue to look through some of these MLB picks. Maybe we find something we liked a little bit better than Bryan Woo. Let's, in fact, look at some of these other strikeout numbers. So where is Mitchell Parker, who we have projected at 4.9 on Underdog? Parker's at 4.5 on Underdog with a 1.05x multiplier. Let's see what 4.5 looks like. That could be a winner. Let's see. 57% with a 1.05x multiplier versus 76%. We might have to see how that total play works out. What about Woo under 5.5? UD has it at 1.5. Oh, let's see. 5.5. 59.1%. I'm not seeing that one. I only see 6.5 strikeouts. I don't see a 5.5 lower multiplier. Are you sure that one's still there, Hugo? Because I'm not seeing this. If we can get a 59% play at 1.5x, we are doing that completely. No questions asked, but I don't see that one. So let me refresh just to make sure that's not the issue. There it is. 5.5 and 5.5 lower 1.5x. Okay, that's the answer. See, that's why we want people in the YouTube chat. Everything gets better when people contribute here in the chat. Shout out to Hugo. So this is the whoops. That's not what I wanted to share. This is the fourth one. No, I just had to refresh. You can always tell, like at the very top, if you search Brian Woo, you'll see the 6.5 strikeout number, higher 1.2x. Right below that is the 5.5 number, and then below that is a 7.5 number. I hadn't seen either the 5.5 or the 7.5 yet. I had to refresh to see both of those. And if you see them at the top, you can pretty much guarantee that the lowers are going to be down at the bottom. That's the case here today. So lower than 5.5 strikeouts for Brian Woo, 1.5x. Remember those numbers that I just shared, right? Brian Woo, so far this year, strikeout totals of 6, 2, 1, 7, 5, and 3. So he's only gone over that number in 2 starts. Yeah, he's been limited a little bit. Maybe you can look at the pitch count and say he went from 79, 77, 70, 66, all the way up to 85. So maybe they are letting him stretch out a little bit. Again, I think they're capping him more at that 6 innings pitch number. It's going to make it harder to get there. I don't think they care as much about the pitch count, in large part because I don't think it's as much about Woo himself, but it's also just they love their bullpen, so they're comfortable turning it over to the bullpen. Man, Woo has been awesome. 1.07 ERA. He's been super, super efficient. So it's tough to get that many strikeouts when you're just breezing through guys and not facing that many hitters. So again, really like that when we're getting the 1.5x multiplier, I mean, that makes it spectacular. So at this point, we've got a 4-pick play at 13.8x instead of the standard 10x. That is nice, but if we can get this to a 6-pick play, this payout is going to be spectacular, especially because we're going to add a 1.25x play that, like Woo, I think is probably 60% likely to hit, something along those lines. So let's get 2 more people in here. We only need 1 more. Shout out to Lou Testa. Only need 1 more. Come on, guys. Let's get 1 more unique commenter in the live chat, and we will get that 6-pick play. Man, that payout is going to be so damn good. I can't wait to see what that payout is. So real quick, let's recap. Phil Mickelson, more than 4.5 bogeys or worse. Tiger Woods, more than 4.5 bogeys or worse. Jesus Luzardo. I wish, by the way, that the UI would show me this whole thing. Maybe it does for some people, and it's just not on mine. Maybe it's because I'm sharing the screen, so it condenses a little bit, but a little annoying as it is. Jesus Luzardo, higher, 26.5 fantasy points. Brian Woo, lower, 5.5 strikeouts, worth 1.5x multiplier. Let's see. Do we have a 5th commenter? Not yet. We just need 1 more, and we will get any concern over CWS sitting bats. Let's see here. I mean, the only thing that really comes to mind is the fact that Luis Robert could get traded. we saw some really funny rumors yesterday stemming from the hacking of, I think it was Buster Olney. Regardless of who it was, someone reported, of course, trolling, that Luis Robert was traded, but Robert has been very realistically involved in a lot of trade rumors. So, like, is that possible today? Sure, but other than that, I don't really think so. And it's not like the change in strikeout rate lately or the change in offense has been solely due to Robert. It's that a lot of these guys are just hitting the ball well. And when you get some guys who end up sitting, it's not like you're guaranteed, even though you're guaranteed to get a worse hitter to come into the lineup, it's not like you're guaranteed to get a higher strikeout guy coming into the lineup. So this is not a big concern for me. There we go. Shout out to Matt. Let's see the 6th pick. Let's go over to the NBA. And in fact, we don't have the tool up yet. We don't even need the tool up yet. I'm just going to share my screen on Underdog once again and head over to the NBA. 2 picks that we had the other night. One of them really should have hit, and the other did. So the one that should have hit was Al Horford. I don't want turnovers. I want steals. Al Horford less than 0.5 steals. Only averaged 0.6 in the regular season. His minutes are back down to like that 28 to 30 range because of the fact that Porzingis is back. And he's just not a huge steal guy. Only had one last game because Tatum picked the pocket of Kyrie Irving with like a minute and a half to go. The problem was Tatum didn't apparently hit the ball. He hit Kyrie's hand into the ball, even though he's the one who created it, because he never truly made contact with the ball. It was reviewed and changed to a Horford steal. When he smacked it, the ball just went right into Horford's lap. Incredibly unlucky. I think it's the wrong call. I think that should still belong to Tatum, in which case the other night wouldn't have been $1,000 night. It would have been a $3,000 night for me. And we would have been just Luka assists away from a 6 for 6. At this point, the 5 pick play is now worth 27.6x. 5 correct in the flex is 13.8. And then we go to the pick that I love. A fairly high steals guy in the regular season, PJ Washington, in the last now 2+ series, has only had a steal in 5 of 13 games. Boston allowed the fewest number of steals per game in the league. So 5 of 13, that's 38% when you get into the upper echelon of these playoff games. The atmosphere is different. The fact that he had more steals in the regular season than he's having right now in the playoffs, I don't think means much. And again, they're facing a team that just doesn't allow steals. PJ Washington, oh, he's down to 1.2x. He was 1.25x earlier. See, if we had that 5th commenter earlier, maybe we would have gotten that 1.25x number. But we are getting now 41.4x for 6 of 6, 4.3x for 5 of 6. This is a fun one. I can't wait to play this one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be limited. Yeah, where we go. We've got to go down to 51. That's no fun, but we will take it. We will take it. Here is the 6 pick play. Phil Mickelson higher than 4.5 bogeys or worse. Tiger Woods higher, 4.5 bogeys or worse. Jesus Luzardo higher, 26.5 fantasy points. Brian Wu lower than 5.5 strikeouts. That's a 1.5x multiplier. Al Horford lower, 0.5 steals. PJ Washington lower, 0.5 steals, a 1.2x multiplier. 41x. Let's get it. This is going to be a fun one. Hopefully we can sweat this. And look, we're going over multiple days, right? We need the baseball picks tonight. We need the NBA Finals, Game 3. I believe it's tomorrow. Then we would need Thursday, those bogeys. So 3 days of sweat, hopefully turning into a huge 41x hit. Thank you, everybody who participated in the YouTube chat. Thank you as well if you just watched. But man, next time, jump in that YouTube chat. It's fun. Shout out to Hugo Detective Gillis's $80 uniform pants as well for showing us that 5.5 number on Brian Wu, which gets us that 1.5x payout. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.